The gavel slammed down with a crack that ricocheted through the courtroom like a thunderclap, silencing the murmurs in an instant. Appeal denied, I declared, my voice steady, honed by years of wielding authority from a bench. In the front row, a woman leapt to her feet, her chair screeching against the polished marble. Her face was a storm of fury, eyes blazing as if she could will the verdict to bend. Lillian Harper, 53, president of the Willow Grove Homeowners Association, stood there, trembling with indignation, her last shot at dodging hefty financial penalties evaporating before her. Her lawyer, a jittery guy in a suit that looked borrowed, reached for her arm, but Lillian swatted him away like a fly. "This is an outrage," she hissed, her words slicing through the hush. "You people have no clue who you're messing with. I run this community, and I won't be treated like some petty crook." The irony of her outburst hit me hard, though she had no idea how deep it cut. As she stormed out, heels clicking like gunfire on the floor, I leaned back in my chair, my mind replaying the wild chain of events that led to this moment. 3 weeks ago, this same woman had committed a federal crime against me, never suspecting that her target would soon hold her fate in his hands. She was about to learn the hard way who she'd crossed. It all started 2 months back when I moved into Willow Grove, a gated community tucked on the edge of town, promising peace and quiet. After 2 decades as a prosecutor and 3 years as a circuit judge, I just landed a seat on the county superior court. The gig came with headache-shy profile cases that plaster my address across public records. Protesters on my lawn, reporters staking out my driveway. It was chaos. Willow Grove seemed like a sanctuary. The 24/7 guarded gates, strict no-solicitation rules, and a SARE VYC to handle deliveries and VY-siders offered the anonymity I craved. I kept my job under wraps, introducing myself as Michael Lee, a vague government worker from downtown. It wasn't a lie, just a shield. I wanted to blend in, pay my dues, and live without the spotlight. My house was modest for the neighborhood, a 2-bedroom ranch with a tidy yard and a detached garage. The place was move-in ready, and I spent my first weekend settling in, arranging furniture, and mapping out the streets. The community was pristine, manicured lawns, uniform houses, a sense of order that soothed my courtroom-weary soul. Trouble found me in week 2. I parked my car in the driveway, expecting a furniture delivery, a bookshelf, and desk for my home office. The truck arrived on time, and as the movers hauled stuff in, I noticed a woman at the end of my driveway, clipboard in hand, scribbling like she was sole VYing a murder case. Average height, sharp blonde bob, dressed like she ran a corporate boardroom, she radiated disapproval. When the movers left, she marched over, her stride screaming authority. "Excuse me," she said, her tone like a teacher scolding a kid caught chewing gum. "I'm Lillian Harper, president of the Willow Grove HOA. You're in violation of community standards." I blinked, confused. The truck was gone. My car was neat. No trash littered the driveway. "I'm sorry, what violation?" I asked, keeping my voice calm. She flipped through her clipboard with a flourish. Section 4B of the bylaws states vehicles must be parked in designated areas. Your car was in the driveway for over 30 minutes. That's a violation. I almost laughed. 2 weeks in, and I was getting slapped with a citation for parking in my own driveway. I didn't know there was a time limit, I said evenly. "Can you point me to that rule in the bylaws?" Her eyes narrowed, like I just challenged her to a duel. "The bylaws are at the community center," she snapped, handing me a carbon copy citation. "This is your first warning. Next time, it's a due law 50 fine." The paper was absurdly formal, time-stamped like a police report, claiming I'd committed a Class C violation for parking 37 minutes. I pocketed it, thanked her politely, and watched her stalk off, clipboard clutched like a weapon. Lillian's reign of petty tyranny became clearer over the next few days. She patrolled the neighborhood like a hawk, citing residents for trash cans out too long or sprinklers Leah VYing puddles. Her attention to detail was obsessive, but her sense of fairness was non-existent. Then came the breaking point. A certified letter demanding due Law 150 for repeated aesthetic violations. My crime? Adjusting my window blinds unevenly and hanging a small American flag by my door. According to Lillian, these broke the community's VY Sewell harmony. I'd seen shakedowns before, and this reeked of one. Lillian was weaponizing her HOA power to squeeze cash from residents, targeting newcomers like me who might not push back. That night, I headed to the community center, where a kind receptionist showed me the HOA's bylaws, a 23-page tome of legal jargon. An hour of reading confirmed my suspicions. The rules were flexible, allowing driveway parking for deliveries and saying nothing about blinds or flags. Lillian was twisting the bylaws to suit her agenda. Better yet, the rules allowed residents to challenge citations before the full HOA board. She conveniently left that part out. I filed a formal challenge, citing the bylaws and requesting a board hearing. When I hand-delivered it to Lillian's office, her face tightened. "Frivolous challenges are a violation too," she warned, her voice icy. "The board won't like their time wasted." I smiled and said I trusted the board's fairness. What I didn't mention was my side project. I'd requested the HOA's financial records, which were public to residents. They painted a grim picture. In a year, Lillian citations had raked in due law $30,000, mostly from new renters like me. The funds went to a community improvement account, but expenses were murky payments to vague consultants with no VY Cybele upgrades. It looked like a racket. Unbeknownst to me, Lillian was digging into my life. My challenge had bruised her ego, and she wanted dirt. She started with public records, confirming I was Michael Lee, government employee. Unsatisfied, she abused her HOA database access, pulling my rental application and cross-referencing it online. Finding little, she took a darker step. Late one night, she crept to my mailbox and rifled through it, snagging a letter from the State Bar Association addressed to Honorable Michael Lee. Back home, she steamed it open, discovering I was a Superior Court judge handling high-profile cases. Instead of backing off, Lillian saw an opportunity. She feared I'd expose her HOA scams, so she hatched a reckless plan: steal my identity to tank my credit with a fraudulent loan, hoping financial trouble would silence me. Using my social security number and details from the database, she applied online for a DULA $25,000 loan, listing her own contact info and fudging my income. She submitted it Friday night, expecting a slow bank process. But the bank's fraud system flagged it by Monday. I was in my chambers when the call came. "Judge Lee, we're denying a loan you applied for," the officer said. "There are discrepancies suggesting fraud." My stomach dropped. I hadn't applied for any loan. The fraud team laid it out. My info was spot on, but the phone, email, and IP address didn't match. "This is identity theft," they said. "Freeze your credit now." I spent the morning on damage control credit bureaus, police report, the works. The timing, just before my HOA hearing, felt too perfect. My home security cameras confirmed it. Footage from Thursday night showed Lillian at my mailbox, stealing mail in clear VYEW. HOA database logs sealed the deal. She'd accessed my info multiple times, including right after the theft. I had her dead to rights for mail theft and identity fraud, but charging her now risked tainting the HOA case. Then fate intervened. A new case landed on my desk. An appeal from Willow Grove residents against Lillian's HOA for misappropriating DULA $50,000. She was the appellant. The conflict was glaring. I couldn't judge a case involving VYing someone who'd committed crimes against me. I called my mentor, Chief Judge Eleanor Brooks. "This is wild," she said. "Recuse yourself, but we'll handle her crimes separately." I stepped back, and the case was reassigned. But Lillian couldn't leave it alone. She went public, claiming I'd recused myself because her connections scared me, accusing the courts of corruption. Her community meeting rants, calling me biased, forced my hand. Eleanor and I agreed. Her lies and crimes demanded I re-enter the case under emergency jurisdiction. The hearing was electric. The courtroom buzzed with Willow Grove residents, eager to see Lillian's fate. She sat smugly, unaware I was her VY Tim. Her lawyer's arguments were weak, blaming disgruntled residents for the HOA's woes. When my turn came, I unleashed the truth. The court has new EVY Denke, I said, my voice cutting through the room. Lillian Harper has committed identity theft, mail fraud, and misused HOA funds. I laid out everything. The mailbox footage, database logs, the fake loan, and due law $30,000 in shady fines. Lillian's face crumpled. Her lawyer froze. When I mentioned the loan, her eyes locked on mine, realization dawning. She'd stolen from a judge now ruling against her. The EVY Denke shows a pattern of criminal abuse, I continued. Harper targeted residents to silence them, including me. Her lawyer's objections fizzled. The proof was ironclad. When Lillian spoke, her voice cracked. I didn't know it was you, she whispered, admitting guilt while pleading ignorance. It was over. The appeal is denied, I ruled. Her crime's identity theft, mail fraud, privacy violations will be prosecuted. The gavel fell, and the room erupted. Lillian was cuffed, her arrogance replaced by defeat. Residents cheered as she was led away, her lawyer trailing with a useless briefcase. In the end, Lillian's greed undid her. She targeted me to protect her empire, never imagining I'd be the one to topple it. She faces federal charges, state violations, and CIVYL lawsuits. Her HOA days are done, a cautionary tale of power abused. Justice wasn't just served, it was poetic. What do you think? Was Lillian's punishment fair, or did she deserve a second chance? Should HOAs have this much power over residents? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you felt the drama, and subscribe for more stories where justice bites back.